Episode 9, Building the System, Integrating Water, Soil, and Plants. Hey everyone, welcome back to EcoAlchemy. My name is Pete, and I'm thrilled to have you here for Episode 9, Building the System, Integrating Water, Soil, and Plants. This episode is particularly exciting because it's where all the previous lessons come together. We're going to apply the principles of water harvesting, soil restoration, and native planting to design a self-sustaining ecosystem that works with nature rather than against it. If you're here because you're dreaming about turning your own backyard, community garden, or small plot into a resilient permaculture system, you're in the right place. Today's episode is focused on practical tips and small-scale trials that you can adapt for your personal projects. Let's jump right in. Water is absolutely the starting point for any thriving ecosystem. It doesn't matter if you're building a garden on a suburban plot or rehabilitating larger acreage. Without water, nothing else can grow or sustain itself. The goal is to maximize every drop of rain. So whether you're working with heavy downpours or light drizzles, you can turn it into a resource. One of the best tools in water management is swales, ditches dug on contour to capture and direct water into the soil. These are incredibly effective even in small gardens. Pair those with bunds or raised earthen ridges to slow water runoff, and suddenly you've got a simple way to soak water deep into your land. For times when the rainfall isn't enough, a rainwater tank offers an affordable and accessible backup system. Captured rainwater can be directed to your thirsty plants during hot, dry months. I recommend starting with a tank that fits your space and test how much water you're able to collect throughout a rainy season. Even small volumes can make a huge difference. If you're tackling a personal permaculture project, start by mapping your water flow. How does rain travel across your yard or garden? Then think about where moisture is most needed. Your swales and tanks will work best when strategically placed to serve those areas. Small, practical adjustments like this can make your space far more water efficient than you might imagine. Healthy soil isn't just dirt. It's a living, breathing web of microorganisms, nutrients, and organic matter. It's the unsung hero of every permaculture project. To grow a resilient ecosystem, you need to feed the soil so it can nurture your plants. In practical terms, I love starting with compost layering. Whether it's kitchen scraps from your home, yard waste, or manure, compost adds much-needed organic material to your soil. For beginners, even a small compost pile in the corner of your yard can yield results quickly. Cover crops are another easy win. Think of them as protective blankets for your soil. Plants like clover, buckwheat, or vetch cover bare patches, prevent erosion, and add nutrients like nitrogen as they decompose. Cover cropping also gives your soil a rest while doing the work for you. Another tip that's key for personal projects: don't skip mulching. A layer of mulch, straw, wood chips, or even dried leaves helps retain moisture, smothers weeds, and protects soil from the harsh sun. This is one of those small steps that dramatically cuts down on maintenance while improving your ecosystem. If you're working on a smaller scale like me, try these techniques in 1 or 2 areas first. Observe how your soil changes over time. It's fascinating to see the land become more fertile and resilient with just a few intentional practices. When it comes to plants, tailoring species to your local environment is the golden rule. For my system, I focus on native plants like velvet mesquite and desert marigold. These species know how to thrive in our tough conditions. They don't just survive. They actively enrich the landscape by creating shade, improving the soil, and attracting wildlife. Diversity matters too. When planting, think in layers, a combination of trees, shrubs, and ground cover. For example, trees like velvet mesquite create a canopy that protects smaller plants below, while ground covers like creeping thyme or grasses prevent soil erosion and lock in moisture. Each plant plays a role, and together they form a healthier, more sustainable system. Here's a simple idea for personal permaculture learners. Start a small planting guild in your yard. A planting guild is a group of plants that support each other. For instance, if you're planting a fruit tree, surround it with companions like comfrey to break up the soil, clover to fix nitrogen, or flowers to attract pollinators. This approach mimics natural ecosystems and reduces your workload over time. Since I'm not on the land full-time yet, I'm experimenting with these ideas on a smaller scale at home. I want to show firsthand how even a small setup can teach you valuable lessons. My trial includes a tiny swale, a compost pile, and a few native plants. It's fascinating to see their interactions. With rain flowing into the swale, not only is the nearby soil noticeably more moist, but the plants in that vicinity are thriving compared to the rest of my garden. If you're just beginning, start small like this. You don't need acres of land to practice permaculture principles. Even a few square meters can become a testbed for learning how water, soil, and plants work together. Plus, it's far less intimidating and doesn't require huge resources. No system is perfect, and challenges are part of the journey in creating a thriving ecosystem. One common issue I've faced is water distribution, ensuring every part of the land gets the moisture it needs. Swales help, but placement is key, and sometimes it takes trial and error to get it right. Another challenge is maintaining soil health over the long term. Mulch breaks down, nutrients deplete, and weeds make their way in over time. This is why continuous observation and adaptation are crucial. Permaculture is as much about problem solving as it is planning. If you encounter issues, remember, each challenge is an opportunity. For example, if weeds overtake your plot, maybe they're telling you something about imbalances in the soil. Addressing the root cause often turns that problem into a useful insight. What I love about permaculture is the interconnectedness of every component. Harvesting water helps revive soil. Healthy soil fosters plant growth. Plants create homes for wildlife, and wildlife, in turn, supports the system through pollination, pest control, and nutrient cycling. Think of your personal project as more than just a garden. Every choice you make, from the native plants you select to the compost you apply, is contributing to something much greater, a living, breathing ecosystem that thrives beyond your initial vision. In the next episode, we'll focus on wildlife, a vital piece of any robust ecosystem. Birds, pollinators, insects, and even small mammals play essential roles in maintaining balance and biodynamics. I'll show you how to create spaces that attract these species to your system. For instance, building a small pond or adding flowering species can transform even a tiny garden into a wildlife haven. I can't wait to dive deeper into this next step with you. Wherever you are in your permaculture journey, remember that success starts with small, actionable steps. Whether you're digging your first swale, experimenting with composting, or planting your first native species, every action you take is a step toward a more sustainable future. If today's episode inspired you to take action, I'd love to hear about it. Share your experiences, questions, or ideas in the comments. It's always fantastic to connect with fellow permaculture enthusiasts and learn from each other. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with anyone looking to transform their space into a sustainable haven. Together, we can create thriving ecosystems that regenerate the planet, one backyard at a time. Thanks for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you next time on EcoAlchemy, where we transform dreams into reality, step by step.